Hey, yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Man in the Wild. Just in my thoughts about this post-election drama that's going on, and as you see on the screen, Stephen A. had to put his 2 cents in there, and what's gonna be funny to me, as it always is when it comes to because I haven't been in politics, but what I'm noticing is that the Democratic mind, it doesn't do well with accepting full accountability, right? Just like the Democratic mind doesn't, it has a problem with expressing the full truth, right? There's always something like in there to where it's like you can kind of push the accountability away just a skosh to keep it away from you enough to where they could take a picture without it being in the way. You understand? So we're gonna see what Stephen A. got to say, and then follow him and see where he goes.
Now let's take a closer look at the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris, who was thrust into the race with less than 110 days to secure the White House. Harris called Donald Trump this afternoon to concede the race.
See, and hey, and he's starting it off with who had less than 120 days to do this. Like, no, if you was already in the motherfucking White House as the vice president, you should already have something to stand on. That's how simple that shit is. You want to talk about had 120 days to put that shit together? Nah, you had 3.5 fucking years to put that shit together and have results to stand on. Look at me already getting. Hey, they said it was like they said something about. I was watching the Bill Burr thing, and they said, man, his anger issues. You going from 0 to 100? He was like, no, I already come in the room at 75. Oh man, because that's what Stephen A. does to me for real. But in the whole thing, so yeah, I came to this video at 75.
The president-elect. By the way, that's something that Trump never did 4 years ago when he lost to Joe Biden in 2020. But let's talk about
man.
Harris and her overall performance in this election, okay? In fairness, I don't think anybody should be laying the party's loss at her feet. I'm going to say that up front, okay? There were missed opportunities from the White House and the Democratic Party, no doubt, but I'm not going to lay it at her feet. Before I even get into it, here's a look.
See, when somebody says some shit like that, right? When somebody says some shit like that, like I said, when it comes to that, the blame game and just the whole accountability, just whatever you want to call it in this situation. She never answered fucking questions. You avoided talking to certain people because you can't answer fucking questions. Like that one, man, that's your fault if that's who you are. And yes, the shit should be laid at your feet for just that fact alone. Just that fact alone. It should be laid, the law should be laid at your feet for just that, knowing that whenever somebody asks you something, you go back to a default copy and paste shit. You understand? Instead of just having a simple ass conversation, that's why you lost. But let Stephen A. Go ahead and keep on.
Get my top 5 reasons again why the Democratic Party lost this presidential election. Look at it for yourself. The economy, immigration, crime, the woke culture. That last one, no primary candidate. Okay? Let me go down the list. I already brought up how she missed opportunities.
Hold on. I can't let this one go. So the top 3, matter of fact, scratch that, all that shit. All of those top 4 are a direct result from the Democratic Party. Directly linked. You can't get away from this shit because all of this shit happened under your watch. So then the throw in at the end, no primary candidate, that's you trying to make excuses. See, I'm an athlete, I'm a coach, I'm a ref. Yeah, you making excuses. Fuck out of here. Yeah, Stephen A. I mean, you knew that's where he was gonna go, but still, it's funny when they say it.
Primary candidate, okay? Let me go down the list. I already brought up how she missed opportunities. Remember when y'all got on me? Because I was sitting here talking about how she needed to go to make herself available and go out there and enter enemy territory and go out there and do interviews that wasn't rife with fluff. Remember I said that? Remember I said that Donald Trump was pointing to the war between Ukraine and Russia, or the Israeli-Palestinian conflict involving Hamas and Hezbollah. Remember I brought up all of that? And I said that Trump would literally use that and engage in some degree of chauvinism because he's going to say, I'm here, I'm doing interviews with everybody. Where is she at? Remember that?
What the fuck does chauvinism have to do with doing your fucking duty? That's the type of shit. That's the type of shit when you throw little keywords in, when you throw a little extra shit in, it ain't got shit to do with shit but whatever bullshit agenda you got. And that's the face you're going to have when you doing this. You full of shit.
And then suddenly everybody caught on. Eventually. I've been saying all along, she couldn't avoid it. You're the vice president of the United States. You should be on top of all of these issues. You should be ready to do interviews at a moment's notice. I'm not saying she didn't know the issues. I think she was overly sensitive to not coming across as if she threw Joe Biden under the bus. But here's the thing. Did Joe Biden deserve to be thrown under the bus? Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So Joe Biden deserved to be thrown under the bus, and I'm gonna see. I hope he says something credible, but I bet it won't be. Y'all two was in the room together during every decision, with Kamala being a tiebreaker with almost everything that we got going on in this country. So how the fuck you gonna throw somebody under the bus when you was in the room with him, Stephen A?
Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
In 2020, he wins election. When he wins the election in 2020.
Well, we could put win in quotes. All right, you have to put win in the quotes, and I'm definitely gonna put one on my numbers channel about that one.
Joe Biden promised to be a transitional president. He called himself a stopgap, an individual that was looking to pave the way for future candidates coming down the pike. He knew that come time for re-election, he would be 81, approaching 82 years of age. He knew that. What's he going to do, stay in office till 86? He gave us the impression that wasn't what he was going to do. What did he did after? What he did was, the midterms came about. And it was supposed to be some red wave with a bunch of Republicans winning seats in the Senate and in the House. It didn't happen. So because of that, since he was the incumbent, he was feeling himself because look at how...
Man, what was supposed to happen was Kamala, he was supposed to get in again because Trump is so bad. Trump is evil. Trump is the devil. Trump is this and that. And he was supposed to get in just based off of that, right? And we got the black vice president. And then within his term, Kamala would invoke, the 25th Amendment, I think, and become the president, and then be able to run for 2 more terms. Like, come on, man. Miss me with y'all bullshit, man. Y'all had a bullshit agenda. That shit didn't work. And, you just need to, understand that you won't be able to pull that same bullshit no more. That's over.
How many seats were retained or captured by the Democrats? And as a result, he could stay in office. He could stay in power. And he decided he wasn't going to walk away. And when he decided he wasn't going to walk away, all hell broke loose. Because we saw health debilitating. His fastball, per se, not necessarily being there. And if we saw it on June 27th, when he went on the stage to debate against Donald Trump, they damn sure saw it beforehand. They saw it, but they couldn't tell us because they weren't going to dime him out.
Right, right. Because if you on another video, the dude said, Van Jones said that there was somebody that worked, in the White House that tried to say that his mind was going and all that stuff. And he said he got beat up, not like physically, but like he got, careerly beat up. for speaking the truth about the mental capacity of the president. So now, with that being said, why didn't y'all invoke that shit now and have Kamala be the president now and then run for, election for the next 2 years? Because you didn't want us to know who she was because she's dumb. You wanted to hide her from us because she's dumb. And ain't nothing wrong with being dumb. It's just a matter of, when you get put in certain positions, it shouldn't be. It should be because of your quality of your work. It shouldn't be because of, other like the little Bronny James shit. You know what I mean? That nepotism or the the casting couch or whatever it is that that you do. Like if you got a very capable child of doing a job, hire that motherfucker. He's trained well, she's trained well. Yes, come on board. But if you got a motherfucker that don't do nothing but play the video games and sleep all day, but then you're gonna try and make him director of sales or some shit, like that's dumb. That's dumb. That's what helps to ruin the company, and then in our situation, the country. By having that dumbass woman, because it's not a thing about having a woman as president. Because low key, if Tulsi Gabbard was to, eventually, she does her thing how she's supposed to, and eventually throws her hat in, like I would not have a problem with voting for that. Because from what I see, you got, logical sense, you got common sense, you got, empathy, which is what the Democrats lack. But that's a whole other discussion. But when you put this dumbass woman in front of people, right, who don't answer no fucking questions, and when she does answer questions, it's such a circular conversation that you leave it dizzy, not even knowing what the fuck was even the original post. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, come on, miss me with that bullshit, Stephen A.
All able to be deduced at this particular moment in time. They knew what was coming on. They knew what was going on. They weren't going to dime him out. They weren't going to expose him like that. So they let him expose himself on the debate stage. Then 3.5 weeks later, he ultimately stepped away, and she became the presumptive Democratic nominee. But what also came with that? What also came with that was the skids were greased, and the American public didn't like that, because in this nation, we like competition. We want to see him in a primary. Then we would have knew before June 27th he wasn't ready. And if you're not going to see him, you wanted to see her in a primary. But that didn't happen.
We already
because by
did.
the time he stepped away, it was too late to entertain.
He was already in a primary. And Tulsi Gabbard beat the shit out of her. Oh, man. Okay, come on.
Dean Phillips or anybody else as a potential Democratic nominee. So as a result, the road was paved for her to go up against Trump unabated. That's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. You may not like hearing it, but that's what happened. That, however, didn't play nearly as big of a role as two things. Number one, the economy. Black folks and minorities. You know what our definition of a good economy is? The value of our dollar and the dollars in our pocket. We don't want to hear inflation ain't the same. It's dipped 2%. If we can't tell when we go to the gas station, when we go to buy some milk and bread, when we go to the grocery store to buy groceries, if we can't tell, we don't want to hear shit about an economy that's improving. Where's the evidence?
I agree with that.
Trump locked in on inflation and how the value of our dollar had diminished before our very eyes. He didn't bring up his role in it prior to Biden arriving. Smart of him not to.
Well, but and I'd like to know what his role in it was, because I thought about it in every possible way, just on some logical shit. But But to my knowledge and to my understanding, these motherfuckers caused a pandemic to get this motherfucker out and to make sure that the ballot. Wait a minute, that's another video. My bad.
Nevertheless, he focused on that. And the Democrats wouldn't acknowledge but so much how bad it truly was. But that all pales in comparison to immigration. Why is immigration so important? Because from the moment Biden got in office, he opened the floodgates. There was no wall built. There was no lines of demarcation to prevent folks from coming across the border. He opened the borders because he was capitulating to the extreme left. Damn near his first week in office with a bunch of executive orders. And as a result of that reality, you had people fresh off of trying to overcome all the noise.
And that's the funny part. That's the funny part to me about the whole, when Kamala was campaigning about, what I'll do in office to help the border and all this other shit. Like, y'all reversed executive orders as soon as you got in office to open them. So that means you can write an executive order to close it. So it's like a whole, when it comes back to whose fault is it, it's your fucking fault, Kamala. You said, like when you're a walking contradiction, that makes whatever fuck up is around you your fault. And there's literally, I don't give a fuck. There's no debate about that. I don't care who you had around you saying this or saying that. You're the one that actually did the shit. You the one that said the shit. You was the one that was on the shit. So it's your fault if that's the case.
And the chaos that Trump had created to go into, oh, damn, what is this about? That is what happened.
Oh, is it?
He opened the borders. And you know what made it even worse when Biden opened the borders, ladies and gentlemen? It was exactly what Obama didn't do. Obama didn't advertise it, but did you know that Obama deported more illegal immigrants than Trump did?
Oh. And that's the funny part to me, that you never heard that shit coming from your CNNs. Whenever they're talking about this, the mass deportation, like they're gonna separate families and all this other shit. Like, yo, the new borders are said, like, shit. If you pull over somebody for drunk driving, they got a kid in the car, you separate separate families then too, as the police. Fuck is it separating? Like, y'all making issues about something, like y'all created a damn problem and then want to bitch about somebody that's gonna fix it. Like, man, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, people are. This really is a strange time.
Obama deported so many folks. They called him the deporter-in-chief. That's what they said about him. That was a Democrat in office who did it and was still popular amongst liberals. So you're Biden, why would you go against that and do the polar opposite? Yet he did. And as a result, the right was able to look at our streets being overcrowded, and any immigrant damn near caught getting a ticket for some reason or another was highlighted and illuminated. See what they're doing to our country? And you sort of backdrop, and it didn't even have to be true. It didn't matter. You sort of backdrop, and then you looked at the streets of Los Angeles, the streets of New York City.
I don't give a fuck. I seen a motherfucker with a body cam on and a woman that didn't speak a lick of English with blood all over her face because she was eating a motherfucking animal. That's what I saw. You want to talk about a parking ticket, all this other shit. Get the fuck out of here. See, you're doing your job, Stephen A. You're doing your job, Stephen A. And to my knowledge, Kamala and them's $20 million in debt, behind this. So I don't know if you're going to get your check.
San Francisco, let's not forget that. And you said, is that what you want your country to look like? Is that what you want taxpayer money funding? And they had them. That, with Biden's slippage, there was no way in hell he was going to beat Trump. So here comes Kamala Harris. And her moment in the sun is to acknowledge that. And to veer left, or right rather, and go in an entirely different path than Biden was going. And she didn't do it.
Because she was a part
That
of
was
it.
point number 2. Let me tell you what point number 3.
She didn't do it because she was a part of it. A major part of it. It's like, I mean, you can't stress that enough. You can't stress that enough that you, when you're with a business partner, for example, right? And this business partner does some pretty sexist stuff, let's just say, for the sake of this argument, right? And you're the other partner and you don't agree with what that person did, right? You're going to take steps to correct course that action, or just distance yourself from that person. You're not going to sit there and basically defend them with your silence. Because that's what she effectively did. She defended Biden's presidency with her silence because she was the one running shit. She had to be. If he's fucking senile as hell, who the fuck was writing? Who was writing his signature then? It's his number 2. It's his number 2. His number 2 is running shit. You got old ass grandpa, right? Can't even get up, can't cook shit. Who's the one that's handling his business? That's basically speaking for him and doing everything in his name, writing all the checks in his name. It'll be what, his wife or his oldest child type shit. And then when they done did all the shit that his name is attributed to, that's attributed to his name, you're gonna stand silent. And that's what showed. That's why y'all motherfuckers lost.
He was. All these celebrities, Taylor Swift, Michelle Obama, Jennifer Lopez,
fuck is she a celebrity? She a former first lady.
Beyonce, Oprah. The list went on and on and on. Let me tell you what the problem with all of that was. Let's not forget LeBron James.
Queen James.
Even though he just put out a tweet.
Oh,
Let me tell you what the problem with that was. Michelle Obama giving a speech in Kalamazoo where she skillfully and brilliantly detailed reproductive rights. Wasn't talking about abortion. She was talking about reproductive rights for women. Fair enough. But then she added a line by saying a vote for him was a vote against us. Don't believe what I'm saying? Take a listen.
We are the ones with the knowledge and experience to know what we need. So please, do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us, against our health, against our worth.
You see what Michelle Obama said right there?
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna say what I want to say first. So the that had a couple of layers to it, right? Whenever about us, and it's black and it's a woman, right? So, because I've had many people say little things to me about my support for Trump, throughout this little past, because I ain't even really start giving a fuck until Kamala got in, like I said, and I heard her talk, and I said, I can't do this. So, and then I actually listened to Trump and said, damn, y'all motherfuckers been lying about this dude. So, people have been saying that, I mean, you got daughters, like, how can you vote for somebody who got daughters and all this other shit? Like, man, what the fuck? I voted for him because I have daughters. Because I know he actually, gives a fuck about keeping them safe in a certain way. Period. You know, so for her to stand up there and say a vote for him is a vote against her, it's like you're drawing a line that don't even need to fucking be there. Right? Because now you got all these women shaving their heads and saying they're gonna be off of men and move out the country. You know what? The mentality that y'all have that would make you be a person that does that shit, good fucking riddance. Shave your head, leave, don't fuck with none of us. Fine. You understand? But what this shit actually did was expose exactly who knows how to think and who's told how to think. You know, and there's no debate because there's people that I talked to, you know, that were voting for Kamala and all that stuff, and we was actually able to have a regular conversation, you know, because they didn't mind the discourse. You know, and ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, what is wrong is when a motherfucker can't put themselves in another person's shoes to understand their side so that the conversation can move along. Because I mean, that's what builds shit, is the empathy. Because ain't no other way to fix, you know, a vast group of motherfuckers' problems without being able to understand exactly kind of what's going on by putting yourself in their shoes. The Democrats are proving they can't do that. They can't do that. Now, what they do is they draw lines in the sand and they double the fuck down if you're not on that side, if you're not on the side with them. And they double down against you like a motherfucker. You know, case in point, like I said, what they're doing with Trump's selections, you know, because it's a straight clean house. This motherfucking government needed this shit.
I'm here to tell you that I believe if Michelle Obama was running, she would have won this election by a landslide.
Full of shit.
She's that popular. She's that skilled. She's a brilliant orator. She's a wonderful woman, the greatest first lady I think this country has ever seen. But when she...
The craziest thing was if she'd have ran, if a motherfucker had the balls to ask her so she could answer about being a man, having to defend that, because you won't be able to defend that. I don't think you would, and I think she would lose that one.
Added that line. How you think American citizens felt? So in other words, if we don't agree with you, we're against you.
Okay.
Didn't affect me because I'd already voted for Kamala Harris.
You did say it, okay.
Might not have affected most women, maybe some. How'd you think the men felt about that? So we have to do what you tell us to do, otherwise we're anti-you. Thought that worked?
Hell no.
Do y'all know anything about most men? Think that's gonna work? How about this one from Oprah? Take a listen.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again. And let me be very clear. If you do not make sure that the people in your life can get to the polls, that is a mistake. Deciding not to decide, that is most definitely a vote to let other people control your future.
Civil Rights Act of 1964, Voting Rights Act of 1965, been in place since 1965. That's spanning more than nearly 60 years.
Hey, nah, what they know in their heart, they ain't talking about casting a ballot. They ain't talking about putting a ballot in. What they're scared of is that motherfuckers ain't gonna fuck with them for at least, I don't know. Let me see what year it's on. I say 12 to 20 years. You understand? I say 12 to 20 years because somebody will fuck it up by then. Because the Republican roster look like oh shit. I'm talking about, man, because it literally is the common sense party, and that's why I jumped on board with the shit. We got nothing but common sense motherfuckers talking to you, right? And that it makes you feel important. Makes you feel like you matter. right? Because even though some of the things may go on that I don't necessarily agree with, but at the end of the day, whenever you're approaching it with a common sense viewpoint, I can't argue the outcome, even if it's against me. That's that's a fact of life. You have to get over. You win, you lose. If you lose, you know what I'm saying? Is there a way you can win, or do you just need to get out the game? And the way the Democrats are thinking right now, how the mind goes on the shit, y'all need to get the fuck out the game. Move to these other countries that you want to go to. That would be great in mine. That would be great.
Okay.
Because y'all motherfuckers done ruined a lot of shit for a lot of people. And it's sad that the people who you fucked up the most don't even realize the shit.
And you're going to look an audience in the face and you're going to tell them that if you vote for Donald Trump, you may not ever be able to cast a vote again. Who believed that? Who believed that coming from Oprah? Truly, who believed that? This is the kind of stuff that alienates an electorate, that alienates a vote or a voter. Because the freedom that you tell them they have, you try to confiscate morally by letting them know you ain't worth a damn unless you vote the way we say you should vote.
Preach.
Who's going to go for that in a general election with an economy rife with inflation?
You did.
With over 12 million people coming crossing the borders. With people wondering about their dollars. The dollars that they earn, the dollars that they have in their pocket, the value of that dollar dissipating before our very eyes. But in the same breath, you're telling them that you got to take even more money out of their pocket to finance immigrants that come all across the border illegally at the behest of the Democratic Party looking to secure a voting bloc. Did you think that would work? Did you think that would work? Ladies and gentlemen, Kamala Harris wasn't perfect, but she worked her you-know-what off to try to make this happen. And to be quite honest with you, she didn't do too much that was wrong.
Oh my God. See, and this is where, this is that whole half-truth shit that I was talking about. Right? That half accountability shit that I was talking about. To say what he just said is fucking stupid. Right? And the only reason why you would say something like that is if you have an agenda or you really are just dumb. Because there's no way you can look at that campaign and see. But again, it comes back to, the different perspectives. Because I'm pretty sure that there's people that watch that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump debate and say that Kamala wiped the floor with him. I know that there's people that are brainwashed enough to have seen to say something like that. Right? But at the end of it, it comes back to it. That like you've been conditioned to believe that. But best believe everybody that stepped outside of that fucking box and took a look inside to see what the fuck was really going on saw that she wasn't shit. Saw she wasn't shit. It was people out that I knew that said they voted for Kamala and even only did it because they ain't want no trouble in their household. Yeah, I just voted for her because, I ain't want nobody to be mad at me. Voting for her out of guilt. Only a narcissistic motherfucker wants you to support them via guilt. And that whole campaign was just surrounded by shaming the motherfucker. Even brought punk ass Barack Obama to talk to the brothers. Fuck out of here.
I actually feel sorry for her because she busted her tail and did all that she could in those 110 days that she had available to her. She might could have done some things differently, fine. But she put in that work. But what we learned last night is that she never had a chance.
Oh, I did.
Because too many American citizens are too disgusted with what they see from the extreme left, who are the progressives, who apparently hijacked the Democratic Party and leaned them and pulled them so far to the left that they felt, hell, even if it is Donald Trump, at least that would be closer to us recognizing the country that we live in as opposed to what we've been subjected to.
Hey, and I said, I don't know if I said it out loud or just, to myself, but I low-key think that the Democrats don't mind it going this bad because no matter who they bring in front of us later on would be much better than this. Because that almost seems like they're stretching out the bar of crazy and taking it all the way to the left. So that when they come back not to the middle, but it's still left middle, motherfuckers is gonna feel like it's more middle left, middle left, middle left, middle right, middle left. But in all actuality, it'll still be far enough left to the point where motherfuckers really wouldn't fuck with it, but it'll be enough distance from the fuckery that was this Democratic campaign and candidate. So yeah, this country like really is a very diverse group, and I can honestly say that I'm glad to have been a part of the people who did vote for common sense. But yeah, Stephen A., since you actually did say some truths in this a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, that half and half. So I'm going to just say in this situation, man, half your bullshit is confirmed.